The 24th edition of Exercise Malabar, hosted by India, has concluded on the 20th of November. The Indian Navy said in a statement that it was reflective of the commitment of the participating countries to support a free, open, inclusive Indo-Pacific as well as a rules-based international order. The naval exercise consisted of India, Australia, Japan, and the US. That is all members of the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue (QSD), which is popularly known as the Quad. In the backdrop of COVID-19, it was conducted in a non-contact, at-sea only format. The Indian Navy stated, "In addition to dual carrier operations, advanced surface and advanced submarine warfare exercises, seamanship evolutions, and weapon firings were also undertaken during both phases of Malabar 2020, demonstrating the synergy, coordination, and interoperability between the four friendly navies." In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why Exercise Malabar, involving the US, Japan, Australia, and India, is making China nervous. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by War Thunder, the most comprehensive military vehicle online game for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, in which you can go to battle on more than 1,200 playable aircraft, tanks, helicopters, and ships from the 1930s to the 1990s. The game has an amazing attention to detail and focuses on a realistic combat experience, which is why knowing your vehicles and skill really makes a difference. It's easy to get into, and all you need to play is nothing more but your mouse and keyboard or controller. Immerse yourself in cross-platform combat with more than 20 million other military vehicle enthusiasts from all over the world. Download and play War Thunder for free using the link in the description below, and also get a free bonus tank, aircraft, or ship, and 3 days of premium account. This is the 24th edition of the annual war game. In the past 2 years, the Malabar exercise drills were conducted in the Philippine Sea, 2018, and off the Japanese coast, 2019. The Malabar exercise began between the Indian Navy and the US Navy in 1992. It was then a bilateral naval drill in the Indian Ocean. Australia and Japan became partners later on, but as Australia moved away due to Chinese sensitivity, Japan became a permanent member of the exercise in 2015. Australia is participating in the Malabar naval exercise after 13 years. This marks a significant shift. India has been hesitant in bringing Australia on board for the past several years, as it did not want to push the Quad aggressively, as it hoped for deeper ties with China. But things changed significantly in the last 6 months. On the 15th of June, after the PLA ambushed and killed Indian soldiers patrolling Ladakh's Galwan Valley, a hand-to-hand confrontation led to the deaths of numerous Chinese troops. The de facto border between China and India is the Line of Actual Control, LAC, and the two countries have a difference in perception of their actual alignment at nearly 14 different points, which has emerged as an issue between the two nuclear-armed nations. The two countries have held discussions at different levels, but tensions have not died down, with both countries still deploying a large number of troops in the LAC. In June, China-Australia relations soured over mishandling of COVID-19 in China, while India and Australia upgraded their ties to a comprehensive strategic partnership level. Australia has indicated its intentions this time, and its defense minister, Linda Reynolds, said the Malabar exercise would showcase the shared will of the four major Indo-Pacific democracies to work together on common security interests. Japan has been getting increasingly concerned about Chinese posturing. In recent times, China has been flexing its military muscle, and its activities in the East China Sea and South China Sea has been a major concern for Japan. US and China has difference at multiple levels, including Chinese intimidation of Taiwan and navigation in the South China Sea. Mike Pompeo said recently, Beijing's claims to offshore resources across most of the South China Sea are completely unlawful, as is its campaign of bullying to control them. He further added, the PRC's predatory worldview has no place in the 21st century. Malabar exercise was held in 2 phases this time. Phase 1 of the exercise was held from November 3rd to the 6th off the Visakhapatnam coast in the Bay of Bengal, and Phase 2 was held from November 17th to the 20th in the northern Arabian Sea. Phase 1 saw the participation of U.S. guided missile destroyer USS John S. McCain, Australian frigate HMS Ballarat with integral MH-60 helicopter, and Japanese destroyer JS Onami with integral SH-60 helicopter. The Indian side also sent destroyer INS Ranvijay, stealth frigate INS Shivalik, offshore patrol vessel INS Sukanya, fleet support ship INS Shakti, and submarine INS Sindhuraj. Other assets like Advanced Jet Trainer Hawk, Long-Range Maritime Patrol Aircraft P-81, Dornier Maritime Patrol Aircraft, and helicopters were also involved. For Phase 2, the Indian and the U.S. deployed aircraft carrier groups INS Vikramaditya and USS Nimitz, respectively, and P-8 long-range maritime reconnaissance aircraft and anti-submarine warfare drills. The two aircraft carriers, along with other ships, submarines, and aircraft of the participating navies, engaged in high-intensity naval operations, including cross-deck flying operations and advanced air defense exercises by MiG-29K fighters of INS Vikramaditya and FA-18 fighters and E-2C Hawkeye aircraft from USS Nimitz. China has maintained very high economic growth over the last 20 years and has become a major economic power. It has spent heavily on military buildup and modernized its military forces. A large part of this fund has been deployed to expand its People's Liberation Army Navy, or PLAN. PLAN has gone from a green water navy capable of operating only in regional seas relatively close to home to a full-fledged blue water fleet operating as far as the Indian Ocean and Baltic Sea. In a recent report submitted to Congress annually, the Pentagon has stated, the PRC has the largest navy in the world, with an overall battle force of approximately 350 ships and submarines, including over 130 major surface combatants. In comparison, the U.S. Navy's battle force is approximately 293 ships as of early 2020. Speaking at a press conference, Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for China, Chad Spragia, said that China was on course to expand its fleet to 360 vessels by the end of 2020. The PLAN is seen as a tool by the Chinese Communist regime that can be used to push its expansionist policies. Malabar exercise aims to strengthen the integration between the four nations, and this will certainly create an obstacle for Beijing. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin told a media briefing in Beijing, "We hope that relevant countries' military operations will be conducive to peace and stability in the region instead of the contrary." China has always viewed the Malabar exercise with suspicion, and its response clearly demonstrates this.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.